All right, so get this. Today we're diving into, get this, wisdom from an alien.
An alien.
Yeah, an alien named Dude, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah, we're unpacking Dude's Koans.
Dude's Koans.
Yeah, so it's these, like, cryptic little sayings, right?
Yeah.
And they're supposedly extraterrestrial, right?
So we're talking, like, ancient Eastern philosophy, but with a sci-fi twist?
Right. Like, is this History Channel's Ancient Aliens level of out there, or is there something deeper? We've got this website claiming an ET named Dude is, like, dishing out life advice.
Well, what's interesting is that koans, like, in the traditional Zen sense, they're meant to kind of shake up your thinking, you know? They're not meant to be solved. They're more like little nudges to get you thinking differently.
So it's like Dude's using the universe as his chalkboard.
Yeah, something like that.
To, like, scribble down some wisdom for us. All right, I'm in.
And see what Dude has to say.
Okay, start with Koan number 1. Buckle up. Spit, don't shit.
Wow, even for me, that one's a bit much.
Right.
Straight to the point.
At first glance, it's like, dude, too much information. But then, like, knowing it's supposed to be profound, what are we missing?
Okay, so if we go back to this idea of koans as tools for, like, personal growth, right? Maybe spitting is about being direct, concise, getting to the point,
Okay.
and then shitting. Well, that could be all the overthinking, the negativity, all that stuff we tend to drag around with us.
So instead of, like, dumping a whole emotional baggage carousel on someone, you're sitting at the short version and then moving on.
Precisely. Or, like, in a creative context, maybe it's about getting that rough draft spit out, you know, instead of getting bogged down and trying to make it perfect.
Oh, Dude's hitting a nerve here. I am the king of overthinking, especially when I'm writing intros.
We all have our processes.
Okay, on to Koan number 3.
Yeah.
And fair warning, this one is a bit of a saga. So this one tells the story of this guy, right? And he lives on, like, this distant world, super isolated. But he has this rep for being, like, this wise man. People travel for miles to hear this guy talk.
Okay.
So one day, someone asks him, you know, the big question, how do I find what I'm looking for?
And what does the wise man say?
So he basically tells the traveler that he's, like, asking the wrong question.
Interesting.
Right. He sends him on this, like, wild goose chase, literally, to go find something that he doesn't see in himself.
Ah, I see.
It's like Dude's version of, you know, the answer lies within.
Exactly. It's like we project our own insecurities or desires onto the world, right? We're searching outside for something we haven't dealt with inside. And you see this everywhere, mythology, literature, even therapy, this idea of the hero's journey inward.
Okay, so how do we actually apply that, though? Like, it's easy to get lost in the metaphor.
Think of it like this. Instead of chasing after that new gadget, that promotion, that perfect relationship, you know, what if we took a moment to ask ourselves, what am I really trying to fulfill here? What am I hoping this external thing will give me?
So being honest with ourselves about what we're really searching for.
Exactly. Because often the answer isn't out there, it's within us. It's about cultivating self-awareness, understanding our own motivations, our own desires.
Deep stuff, dude. Deep stuff. Okay, speaking of finding your own path, Koan 26 takes us on a journey about this search for home. This was another story, right? So we've got this traveler, and he's going around asking everyone he meets,
Asking what?
can you help me find my way home?
It's such a simple question, but it's kind of like gets at something like really universal, you know?
Right.
Like, what does it mean to find home?
Yeah. Is it a place, a feeling? Is
Yeah.
it, like, a person? What is it?
Exactly.
Like, for some folks, you know, home is like being back in their childhood bedroom, you know?
Yeah.
Surrounded by all their familiar stuff. But for other people, it's more about just having a sense of belonging, you know, like
Yeah.
wherever they are, that's home.
Yeah. And, you know, this Koan, it suggests that maybe the answer isn't something somebody can just tell you,
Right.
you know? It's like the traveler's journey, it implies that finding home, it's more like a process of self-discovery.
So instead of looking for a map, maybe it's about understanding what makes you feel, you know, grounded, safe, content.
Yeah, like what makes you feel at home.
Yeah, exactly. And then once you know that, maybe you can create that home wherever you go, right?
Exactly. It's more about a feeling than a place, right?
Right.
And it might not even be like a fixed thing either.
Oh, interesting.
You know, our sense of home might change over time as we grow, as we experience new things.
Okay, that's really making me think. I'm starting to realize I've had a pretty limited view of what home could be. All right, let's shift gears a bit to Koan number 12. This one's short and sweet. Forget because you can.
Ooh, I like this one.
Right.
It's so blunt, you know? It challenges our, like, obsession with remembering everything, holding on to the past.
Right. It almost seems kind of counterintuitive because, like, we're always told to learn from our mistakes, never forget where we came from, all that good stuff.
Yeah. And those are important lessons, of course. But this koan, it's kind of inviting us to consider the other side of that coin. Like, what about the power of letting go?
Uh,
Humans, we have this like incredible capacity for holding on to things, memories, grudges, past hurts. It can really weigh us down.
well, tell me about it. I'm still holding on to a grudge from that time a vending machine stole my dollar in high school.
Exactly. And it's that kind of holding on that dudes, maybe nudging us to examine, like, we have a choice, We can choose to release those memories that are no longer serving us, the ones that are just weighing us down.
So it's not about like having some eternal sunshine of the spotless mind memory wipe. It's more about like just being choosy about what we carry around,
Yeah.
what we keep with us.
Precisely. It's about finding a way to make peace with the past, so we can move forward a little lighter.
Yeah. It's like that saying, like holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Ooh, I like that one.
Okay, ready for another one?
Hit me with it.
Koan 37 says, in a country where they did not speak a universal tongue, blah, blah, blah. An old lady who acted as a mediator, blah, blah, blah. The only language that needs to be spoken is the language of love. Okay, so dude's getting all lovey-dovey on us now. What are we taking away from this one?
Well, it might sound a little cheesy, but I think it speaks to something very true. We live in a world where we are constantly being hit with these messages of division,
Totally.
different languages, different cultures, different beliefs, and it's easy to focus on those differences.
And it feels like everyone's like,
Shouting.
yeah,
Ah.
shouting at each other.
Yes.
And no one's actually listening.
Ah.
But this Koan, it suggests maybe there's a way to cut through all that.
Yeah, all the noise.
All the noise, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? It's like tapping into something like a little deeper.
Something that connects us.
Yeah, something that connects us on like a human level.
Totally. Because think about it.
Right.
We all feel joy. We feel sorrow, fear, hope.
Right?
Those emotions, they go beyond language. They
Right.
go beyond all those cultural barriers.
Yeah. It's like dudes saying like, hey, we're all just aliens on this rock.
We are, kind of, right?
Just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, trying to figure it out.
Trying to figure out this whole life thing.
Exactly.
And maybe, just maybe, like approaching each other with a little more empathy.
A little more understanding.
Yeah, a little more understanding could like bridge some of those gaps.
Absolutely.
Could help us, overcome those divides.
Yeah, sure.
Wow. Dude, really going deep on us today.
I know, right?
From like bathroom humor to universal love. Who knew extraterrestrial wisdom could be so like wide-ranging?
Well, that's the beauty of these copians, right?
Right.
They challenge us.
You do.
Make us think.
Yeah.
Sometimes make us laugh.
They do. Some of them are pretty funny.
And then, hopefully they leave us a little bit wiser.
Yeah, I've got to admit that one about, finding home, that one really kind of like resonated with me.
Oh, yeah. How so?
I don't know. I'm starting to see it less as like a specific place,
Right.
and more about like cultivating that feeling,
Right.
that sense of belonging, like within myself.
Yeah, it's like an inside job.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really interesting because for me, it's Koan 12 that forget because you can. That keeps coming back to me
That is a good one.
because it's such a powerful reminder that we get to choose, What we carry the good and the bad,
Yeah.
and what we leave behind.
Yeah, it's like a mental decluttering exercise.
Exactly.
Like letting go of the stuff that's just weighing us down so we can kind of like move forward a little more freely.
Totally.
It's great stuff, man. Well, on that note, we'll leave you all to ponder the profound, perplexing, and sometimes hilarious wisdom of Dudes Koans. Until next time, keep an open mind. And remember, sometimes, like the most profound insights, they come from the most unexpected sources.
That's right. You never know where wisdom's going to show up.
That is so true. All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in.